Hello and welcome to Some Dudes. Today we're talking about the 2020 film Host. Now, the movie follows a group of 6 friends who decide to hold a virtual seance with a medium during the pandemic lockdown. However, things quickly take a terrifying turn when they accidentally invite an evil spirit into their homes. Now, as the friends try to deal with the haunting, they realize that they are not safe even in their own homes. The spirit seems to be targeting them one by one, and they must find a way to stop it before it's too late. Host is a 2020 found footage horror film directed by Rob Savage. The film was shot entirely during the COVID-19 pandemic and takes place entirely on Zoom video conferencing platform. We begin with Haley hosting a Zoom meeting room, which all of us may be very familiar with by now. It's surprising to me how more content like this didn't just pop up, and instead more people were just trying to produce the usual content while denying the COVID reality. And so, without further ado, spoilers ahead, watch out, and let's get to it. Now, our protagonist is first seen grooming and trying to get the optimal location to host a meeting. After hearing a noise, a closet door opens and a bunch of sports equipment gives us our first startle. But there is no one in the closet. We are then greeted by Gemma, launching rocks at the window. Looks like she lives nearby. Shortly after this, Gemma joins the meeting. She seems to be new to this and struggles with turning off her phone and laughs at the interference. A chirpy Emma now joins, feeling nervous about the meeting, and in less than 10 seconds we also meet Radina, who suddenly starts to cough, and we get a classic COVID scare reaction from her mates. Apparently people are not allowed to cough anymore. Then we meet Caroline, who's got some shh on her face. Her words, not mine. Oh wait, no, it's just mud to help her lock down pores. It's a lovely moment now that the gang is all together and they vent about their new normal. The attention moves on to Radina and her partner, who seems to be having some issues living as a couple in lockdown. I know the feeling. Emma and Caroline bring out some scary and interesting filters to lively things up, including a loop of Caroline in her room doing random things. Suddenly we're watching Mean Girls as the girls are talking about Jenny and their friend Teddy. Then, after taking a few stabs at her, and right on cue, Teddy connects to the meeting. They all stop on their tracks and greet the old Tedster. He's having a gin and tonic, living the life by the pool with his girlfriend, who they had been trashing just a few seconds ago. He is telling the girls about how he moved back into his parents' home and is also living with his girlfriend there. He is very happy, but also he shows them all the old creepy memorabilia that they have lying around the place. There's a particular music box that his brother used to scare him with when he was a child. I wonder if that's gonna come back later somehow. Gemma, on a more serious note, tells everyone the woman who will guide their experience today is a friend, so please, let's be nice. Teddy says, "Good news, we have a drinking game. You may have a cheeky shot whenever our guest says astral plane, and you guys can play at home as well." Now is when we find out that we are tagging along for a seance onto a little toast. Our sidekick is waiting to enter the room, and the crowd seems to be a bit nonchalant about the endeavor. Enters Sayan, the seer, for the seance. She greets everyone, and right away she tells them that she has never done this over Zoom. Of course, she is all business and starts to ask everyone as well if they have their trigger objects, which will be used to connect with their loved ones. Jenna inquires if her Chinese grandparents would be able to communicate. Seon explains that the astral plane is kind of language-free. So there we have our first shot, and good news for Jenna. This is confirmed once again after Emma inquires about talking to dead pets, which prompts our second round of drinks. Next, our guest will light their candles, which will function as beacons for the souls we are guiding. Seon warns to look out for signs such as voices, any mental images that come to their minds, or maybe even hearing if there's anything there. Any physical sounds like a knock on the door. Teddy takes another cheap shot at Seon and makes her say astral plane in a kind of unfair way, just asking, "So what's the name of that plane again?" I don't know. Not cool, man. Next, our group is warned that because of this being done remotely, the exposure to the spirits may be stronger than a face-to-face seance. They must picture themselves as if they were together, part of a circle, or imagine a rope which they can cut to sever themselves from the spirit realm. In the middle of this moment of concentration, we are startled by Jenny, who comes in to see what Teddy is up to and briefly ends up disconnecting him from the call. Okay, so I think the girls might have been right about Jenny. Trying to move on as quickly as possible, Seon shakes it off and drops a bomb by telling everybody that we are still good and the spirits can still possess us through the internet. Don't be alarmed. Possess sounds like a strong word, but just means the spirit can communicate through you. No biggie. So back to visualizing, and Seon now invites the spirits forward. A light appears on Radina's cam feed, which is moving, but she brushes off as a reflection. An odd crashing noise is heard, but no one can place it. Seon asks the spirit to knock again if it's trying to give a sign. A few seconds pass and we all hear a clear knock. Oh, wait up! Did someone order some Chinese? Seon realizes her food delivery arrived. The girls get antsy as Seon is taking too long to come back, but they are brought at ease when she finally shows up. After the apology, she asked if anyone feels anything. Haley says she can feel a hand on her shoulder, and suddenly Gemma gives a jump scream. She's really scared after something just touched her neck. Our guests all look concerned. Jenna says the pressure is unbearable. Seon advises her to ask who it is. The name Jack comes to mind. Jack is someone from her past who helped her once, but later hanged himself. Seon tries to help but loses connection. All eyes are on Jenna, who gives a cheeky smile to show it was just a prank. The rest of the group is rightfully pissed. There is a brief wee break where we see everyone walk away, but Jenna's candle goes out. A few flushes later, everyone is back. Jenna casually lights her candle and proceeds to start heckling Jamie. As the mood starts to get heated, everyone is shocked as Haley gets pulled back, poltergeist style, to the other end of the room. Playtime is over. No one can believe their eyes yet. Haley says, "We have to go on. There's something here." Haley calls to see if anyone is there and boosts the audio to see if anything comes through. After calling once again, we hear a noise. A low, grumbling, unmistakable sound. It's coming from the same closet as before. More noises are heard. Apparently, we should just go see what it is. Caroline opens the cellar door to her home. Why? Seriously, why, Caroline? The girls are distraught as they see Caroline struggling, using her computer high over her head to try to see what lurks above. She walks up the ladder and we see the items in the cellar. An image is seen which quickly disappears when the camera lands back. Were those feet? The girls start losing their cool as Haley reinfects. She asks the girls if they see what she sees, but there's nothing there. Haley snaps a Polaroid, which reveals a figure. Emma's glass shatters and no one thinks this is funny anymore. They called Seon, but she says her internet has gone down and is unable to get back online. They ask for assistance because of what they have experienced. Not knowing all the facts, Seon says it's good that they're experiencing something, but she's sorry she can't be there. At this point, Seon thinks that it may be Jack, but we have to explain to her now, Jack isn't real. Seon then warns them they have created a fake invitation. This is a mask that any spirit can use, but hopefully it's just a regular spirit. Caroline can't take it and asks for the worst case scenario. Seon says it is possible it can be a demonic spirit, so it's best to say thanks and close the invitation. Seon plays the 1 knock yes, 2 knocks no question. Do you have a message for us? Haley's lights blink once. Next question, are you a friend? 1, 2, 3. The lights go haywire. It looks like a hell no. The girls panic. The call with Seon dropped. They try to think about the safety rope that they have to cut off. They think hard. Then they call again to see if the spirit is still there. Everyone opens their eyes and blow out their candles. Seems like it's all clear. Everyone can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Radina picks up her laptop and walks through her apartment, and we see an unsettling image behind her. Everyone is trying to find their bearings and promise never to do this again. Radina sneaks into the bathroom for a panic wee. Bringing her laptop with her because she's not going anywhere alone, ever again. The girls are expressing their thoughts as Radina tries to find her boyfriend. She calls his phone, which is ringing, but it's in the bathroom. Gemma and the others begin to say their goodbyes, but we cannot see Caroline or Radina. Caroline seems unresponsive. Looks like her loop is playing. Then a crash. Everyone is confused as the feed continues right away. No one is sure what happened. Emma's feed is panning around then. Boo! On another filter, a floating mask. Wait a minute, that's not a filter. The floating mask disappears. Then we see a clever Emma sprinkling flour on the floor to try to catch the spirit. No good. We get a good scare as all the cabinets fly open and we keep hearing that noise when a message keeps coming in a poor reception zone. All hell breaks loose and footsteps appear on the powdered floor. Get out, Emma! The kitchen is a mess and Emma finds refuge in the closet next door. It's a short-lived respite as the spirit once again charges forward and we see a futile attempt to escape. Finished by the camera on the floor, focusing on the cellar door. Come on, #no more cellars. To our surprise, Emma is still alive, but still panicking. Radina comes back into frame to turn off a burning oven. Distracted by the people screaming in her computer, she confronts all of us with a loud, "What?" Her boyfriend suddenly drops out of nowhere with a loud thud behind her. She immediately runs for the door, only to get pulled back by an angry snarl, dragged back violently, and then a crunch. A single speck of blood is enough to know what happened, and then there were three. No one can believe what's happening, as Caroline's pre-recorded background runs again, this time interrupted by the gruesome image of her face being bashed into the desk, pleading for help. The girls are sobbing uncontrollably and start tossing the blame at each other. Once again, Haley is pulled back in her chair as she tries to back up. The chair is violently snatched away from her. The onlookers can't do a thing but panic and scream while she's knocked down and dragged out of the room by an invisible force. We are down to Emma and Jenna. Caroline's fake feed runs again and we see Gemma bravely and responsibly put on a mask and attempt to rescue Haley. The feed breaks and we are left with just Emma. At the worst possible minute, Teddy decides to rejoin the meeting. He does a very creepy-ass routine using a scary marionette that his parents have in their house. He apologizes for blowing them off, totally ignorant to what has transpired. He asks where everyone is when the lights go off in his place. We see him looking around for the fuse box, when bam, the astral plane shows its horrible face. Teddy scrambles for a safe place in a closet but cannot escape the nightmares. He then runs outside looking for Jenny. Before he can reach her, she has elevated by an invisible hand over the pool and her neck is snapped like a twig. Emma, needless to say, is beyond scared, begging Teddy to get out. We see Teddy trying to run away and lying on a pile of wood after running for a while. We can hear banging noises fill the air. Lo and behold, a musical box starts playing in the background and we catch a glimpse of a noose in the barn. Bang, his light explodes. Now we can only hear Emma sobbing. Ted keeps looking for the musical box with his Zippo lighter, only to be knocked out and incinerated in front of our eyes. The meeting time is almost over as we see in the warning, and only one guest remains. Cowering under the sheets, Emma hears her front door bang open. Suspense builds as Emma musters the courage to go out of her room and see what's happening. But since her bedroom door is now already open, she looks for a blanket and tosses it into the air. It's unmistakable that the blanket landed on something, some kind of ethereal being. Emma jumps out the nearest window to make a run for it. The camera lands safely on the grass. Emma, not so much, crashes into a yard table for all to see. Now when you thought it was all over, wait a second, there's more. We see Radina's feed and hear a knock over to Caroline. Same knock. Finally in Haley's feed we see glass shattering into her room. Gemma has come to save the day. She peeks at the screen but everyone is gone. One by one the guests disconnect. As Gemma approaches the bedroom door, we can hear the static again. As she looks around, a bottle flies out of nowhere and knocks her down. She gets up and knocks the computer down, which gives us a convenient view of the flat getting messed up by our poltergeist. Still breathing, she goes into the living area, where we get a couple of cheap jump scares. Finally, we hear someone running around the place, but we see no one, until Haley pops out from under the desk. The girls are planning to leave and use the Polaroid to make sure the coast is clear. Snap. Boom! This free meeting has ended. Thank you for watching this movie recap until the end. Let us know if you enjoyed it and what movies you would like to see next.